Problematic Sticker Anime Podcast. I am your guest host, back once again like the Renegade Master. It is me, Neil Bolt, formerly of PSU. Wound me, sir. You wound
you derailed his train.
Man, his train was like a candle in the wind.
Yes, nothing goes down better on a podcast than in jokes that the audience is going, what? And thinking, basically, it was a whole conversation about Princess Diana before this. It was rather tasteless, and I started it, to be fair. But tasteless, and you don't need to know more about
And
it.
it kind of stopped suddenly.
Then we had some professional composure, which ended. I was slighted by Klaus. Klaus is here, clearly, as you
Hi.
Hi. That guy.
Oh, come on. Admit it, you missed this voice.
That voice, man.
It's good to have you back. It really is.
Thank you. Your voice warms many a cold night, I have to say. So.
Wow.
Is the beard growing back as well now for you?
We're keeping it short. It's here, but we're not going the full beard. We're not going Grizzly Adams this time.
Style class at this rate. That's the winter's coming. You may reconsider.
Winter is coming.
Yes, you can get those bristles bristling, if we will. On this prestige podcast is, of course, Ben Shillerville Hall.
I am here to talk animes and really off stuff that I shouldn't talk about.
I mean, I say quite ironically, but it's not. If you ever heard me host this podcast before, I'm not really here to talk anime. I'm really here to just sort of make segues to segments and really,
which is very anime in a way.
It's like I am the filler episodes of the podcast, if you will. I'm just here to fluff it up a bit.
The only difference is, unlike normal fillers, people prefer that to the canon.
To the canon. Yeah, because everybody likes the 20-episode arc of what we're having for dinner. It's a relative tale.
That 20-minute arc where you cook that 5-minute meal.
What a meal. Anyway, other people are in this podcast too. There is, of course, Gary Bagdasarov.
Sup, players? Hey, it's not my phone for one.
I'm back in the saddle and I hear a phone ring, you talk. I assume naturally it's your phone.
I know, right? It's so weird that it's not.
It's fine. I'm just saying.
Is someone cheating on your phone?
Oh my god.
Screw in with your phone.
I am here to talk animes. I'm excited to talk animes.
It's almost like we are working with an anime budget because we're getting repetitive lines now as well as everything else. Who's here? Well, there's Chris DeVessa. How are you doing, Chris?
Carpool! That was the name of the Tom Arnold movie where he drove through the shopping mall. Now
Jesus
I remember.
God, are you serious?
Yes.
That was like 2 hours
so long. All right. Yeah, I am back after a long and much needed absence.
I'm so happy you're here.
Yes. I'm starting to think my absence was much needed at this rate, and maybe should have continued at this rate.
Probably going to need it again after this. Yes, I have returned, and I have much to say, as always.
Yes, we're going to give you your own recap segment today.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
You get your own section.
And being section for once, which is why you're away, obviously.
Or simply being sex. Without the chunk on it.
Let's not go there. I think you're done.
I'll tell you when I'm done, Gary.
And spend. 'Cause 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 '
Yes, first clap of the day has been. Rounding out our party is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that is Alfonso Boxel. How are you doing, Alfonso?
I'm well. I'm hanging in there. Still going through my stages, but I'm hanging in there.
Well, you've got us to. I wouldn't say entertain, but to hear.
There's always worse things in life to be confronted with, and that's being on a podcast with these people. It is definitely one of those. So, you know, it's all good.
It's a very limited list, but there is still a list.
I'll take that list.
Yay!
It's a very exclusive list, though. That's the key.
It's to die for, as I said, that you could have this kind of list that of people that are so horrible that you would still be all right coming out the other end of this podcast. It is amazing that anyone could.
You pretty much, the way everything in life comes out of the other end, this podcast, we're pretty good. I don't think we're quite to the that stage yet.
We're okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm downplaying. It's a common tactic, you know. It's fine. We'll dig it. Anyway, we're here to talk in general.
Wait, I think you forgot one more person.
Did I?
Yeah,
Who else is
he's got a name like an anime character or a video game character, like Nightbringer or something. I don't know.
He already got him.
Tonight.
Where the fuck were you?
Apparently, Gary's not paying attention. Talk to me
Dumb.
first.
I am dumb. Leave me alone.
You said it. I didn't.
Sorry,
No.
I must have missed that part.
Yes, you did.
Shout out to Klaus for shout outs. I'm having a beer. Leave me alone.
I want a beer.
I'm having a beer. I still remember talking to Klaus. Well, you know, because we're going to open this with the whole fairy tale thing, which is of the announcement of the final. I say with air quotes here, final season. So yeah, take it away, Gary. Take it away.
Yes. So it's been, I believe, about 2 years since the last season of Fairy Tail aired. People thought it was the end of the anime, even though there's still a lot of unanswered questions, especially since it left off on a big tease of what's to come. And finally, now that the has finished the manga, the Fairy Tail manga is over. He's now moving on to a spin-off of Fairy Tail, which takes place in the same world, just with some different characters, with a lot of the main cast playing cameos in that story as well. But the final season of the anime is airing this fall. Funimation announced that it will be airing it, I believe, with their Semul dub. Is that what it's called? Semul dub?
Simul dub.
Yeah, where it's the
dub with the sub.
Yeah, the Japanese and the English version airs at the same time, but lately that hasn't been the case with a lot of their Semul dubs, where they're probably like 2 episodes behind on their English dubs. But it seems like all the voice cast is returning for the English version. For when
Todd
it
Haberkorn
eventually,
and Colleen Clinkenbeard for the win.
yeah, and whoever plays Lucy, that's all I care about. But it's still unknown for sure whether it is going to be a Semul dub. But the way that they made the announcement, it seems like it's going to be. But it's coming. For those who want to catch up on Fairy Tail, it is available on Crunchyroll and Funimation. I believe it's about 8 seasons. I'm not sure how many episodes by number they're up to. But in my opinion, they have 2 movies. One of them is available for streaming right now. I believe it is The Priestess of Fire or something like that. But the second movie that released last year is still not available on streaming, but you can buy it and watch it if you so choose to. But yes,
And
Fairy Tail's final season airs this fall.
And you should choose to watch it, because it is a fantastic anime.
Yes, I,
Yeah,
along with
it-
some other people, have watched it. Please, whoever has watched it, chime in.
watched-
I haven't finished it all the way through. I'm about midway through the entire available seasons, and it's one of those ones. There are so many episodes that you kind of end up watching them in chunks or arcs. Like I finished the first 52 episodes that were on Netflix, and obviously was hooked. I binged it. Wasn't able to watch anything more again until I got my, the Funimation, Crunchyroll subscriptions, and it's absolutely worth it. I would say to go through and watch it. If it hooks you, then yeah, by far, it's great to get into. It's a lot of fun characters, magical world. It's a shonen with wizards, so they're launching all their cool attacks and some great battle scenes. And yeah, watch it in chunks. I would recommend. Like, do an arc. If you want to binge the next one, do it. Don't burn yourself out on it. And if you're catching up, binging. But it has some very great arcs that are perfect to stop in between because they each reveal a piece of the larger story going on as you get to know these characters and kind of the big overall evil enemy in that. I very much love it. It's one of my top 10 all-time anime. So yeah.
By the way, are you paying for Crunchyroll and Funimation separately?
No, no, I am not. I have a Verve.
I was going to say, because if you are, you should move over to Verve, where you can get Crunchyroll, Funimation, and other streaming services for the bundled price. Go check out Verve.com.
Mm-hmm.
Please sponsor us.
I think 2 shows running, we've had sponsor opportunities from Ben. I do wonder if he's on the slide doing this and pocketing.
If I was pocketing the money would then go towards giveaways.
That's true, but you haven't mentioned anything about the pizzas yet. So,
But you're like the Scarborough or the Robin Hood of Scarborough, is what you're saying?
That I can't talk of those because it's not a video game podcast and they don't sponsor anime. So,
the 2 combined, if anything.
I should also mention that of all the seasons out there, 2 of them I believe are not based off the manga. I know one of them for a fact was a spinoff, and that's the one that deals with the Zodiac characters, Zodiac keys. That entire arc was a filler arc because it's not in the manga. They just did it to wait for the manga to catch up. And one of the seasons is also a prequel season, and it pretty much shows you how the Fairy Tale Guild started. So
It's fine. I mean, considering how rich that is, it's a cool thing to know. I think in that regard.
yeah.
You there for a second. Well, you actually almost thrilled me for a second. I thought you were going to say there was a story arc about the Zodiac Killer, and that would have been much more.
I was like, oh my god, I didn't know there was a Final Fantasy 14 crossover with Zodiac.
No. Lucy, one of the characters, she's a celestial wizard, and she uses these keys that summons the Zodiac characters, pretty much. Sagittarius, Libra, these types of characters.
Aquarius, the best one.
You're saying about arcs, and to be honest, the first arc itself is so utterly charming.
Mm-hmm.
Great motivation for watching the rest of it. It has to be said. That's the only reason I haven't watched as much as I wanted to is just because between sites, different sites have different things, and you can't really recollect where the episodes are supposed to be, and it felt like I missed a chunk of stuff when I moved from one place to another. But yeah, there's so much good in the first 50 episodes. It's just a great run. I think there's 2-3 arcs in that time. They're just great fun, and even though they do, follow a lot of the same, the hero's getting beaten to shit. Oh, look, he's found a new power he's pulled out of his ass, and here we are.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of reused animations, but from a shonen anime, well, not shonen because I guess Fairy Tail is not shonen, that type of anime, it's kind of become the norm. So
It's nice. For the most part, I know it gets a bit pervier later in, but it is quite wholesome in a lot of ways, despite the excessive
The
violence.
fan service.
Wow!
There's a reason, Gary. Let's put it that way. There's
Hey.
a lot of that.
Lucy's adorable. Okay.
Fan service.
Urza or bust, man. Urza or bust. You want a strong woman that can take care of you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I'm a Chris here on this one, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a woman to punish me physically all the time for nothing.
You wuss.
And plus, there's Grey.
Nice.
For anyone who wants some male nudity, there is Grey. It's constant being unclothed thing.
So great. Why are you naked again?
It's like,
Oh, can I just mention this? One of the funniest moments in that entire show is actually in the movie, the priestess one that I talked about, where, for those who haven't watched Fairy Tail, Lucy always finds some way of losing her clothes all the time for whatever reason or not. Like it's destroyed, or during a battle she gets all torn up. But one of the on-running jokes is that Gray always ends up taking his clothes off for whatever reason. He just can't help it. And he's kind of like the ice mage. And one of the things that happens is she's constantly losing her clothes and he's constantly taking it off. And there's one point in the movie where Lucy doesn't realize that she's naked, and until they kind of point out, and then she freaks out. And Natsu, who's essentially the main character, he kind of looks at Gray and he looks at him with like this evil eye, and Gray looks at him and it's like, "It's not contagious, damn it." And it was fantastic because he's like, Natsu at that point like finally questions why Lucy's constantly getting naked. And then he just turns to Gray with like these beady eyes, and Gray just kind of looks at him and says, "It's not contagious, damn it."
Because that's the funny thing about it, because it never becomes a big thing with Lucy until after she meets Gray, and that, so it is almost like it's contagious. But yeah.
I love that show.
It's a fun show.
So many good characters too. So many good characters, memorable characters in there. They're all so fantastic.
Sporting Guts is great in that show. It has to be said. But anyway, that's enough about that. We've got other things to talk about.
Can I bring something up that I forgot to suggest earlier?
Oh,
I know. Here comes a new challenger. There's rumours that a sequel to Bleach is in the works.
The live action movie, right?
No, the actual manga. Basically, when the live action movie came out, that famous crossroads in Tokyo, I can't remember what it's called. Basically had a load of Bleach advertisements around it, and people thought that it was just towards the Bleach movie. But he's also now recently released a spin-off manga, which, although it supposedly has nothing to do with Bleach, mentions the Soul Society, like a Western version of the Soul Society. And there's a couple of panels where the letters for the letters for Bleach is like darkened. So the manga's called Burn the Witch. I haven't read it myself yet because I haven't found one translated yet. But yeah, supposedly
Radiohead.
What?
No, Radiohead album.
Yeah, supposedly it's called Burn the Witch, and there is some teases towards either like a new season of a new sort of Bleach series that's going to be a manga. So
cool.
Whether it's going to be a direct sequel or a spin-off with this like Western Soul Society, who knows? But
there's developments in the bleaching.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I've been kind of eagerly awaiting to hear what
drink your milk.
Kubo-san is gonna.
Did you watch the movie, next. Chris?
I haven't seen the Bleach movies. No.
No, they made a live action movie on Netflix.
No, I haven't watched that. No, I stay away from that. I haven't watched Death Note either.
Trust me. It's
Seriously?
actually decent-ish.
The Death Note one, stay away from,
Death
but
Note, stay
the
away,
Bleach
but
one,
Bleach,
watch.
Yeah.
All right,
The
all right.
Bleach
I'll
wasn't
watch
made
this on
by
your guys'
Bleach wasn't made by Netflix. It's actually a movie made in Japan. It's just that
Nice.
Netflix
Okay.
is the one that's got the rights to air it.
Just like the Full Metal Alchemist movie too.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that actually. How was that?
I liked that one as well. I think I liked the Bleach one just a touch better, but
Yeah.
I was overall, I didn't hate
Yeah.
the
And when it comes
the
to
Full
live
Metal
action movies, not hating it means it's better than most of them.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, that is very true, especially when you think of the Dragon Ball live action.
You swear too much,
Dragon
good
Ball
sir.
live action? What? No, Klaus. What Dragon Ball live action movie? Nothing like that. Just like the Avatar: Last Airbender live action movie, it doesn't fucking exist. It
You
never
know
happened.
they're making a new
That
series
movie by
of that,
M.
by
Night
the way.
Shyamalan Ding Dong?
You do
Where the
know-
twist was, he didn't make a good movie.
No, that's not a twist.
I rewatched Unbreakable the other day, and I have
I
a whole
didn't
new
say it was good
appreciation for that movie.
By the way,
It
you
was
guys
wonderful.
do know that they're making a new Netflix live action My Last Bender.
Yes, I know that.
But-
They're making a live action TV show. Netflix is doing it.
Lovely.
But it's also being
to be
made
fair
by
though,
yeah.
you have to remember, like, if you're doing a live action of an anime like Full Metal Alchemist or even Bleach, you watch those animes and then you imagine them live action, and you have to like understand just how much money it's going to take to do it.
Plus, physics exists in
Because
this world.
it's going to require an insane amount of CG, which outside of Hollywood, a lot of studios don't really have the budget to do those. So they do what they really can do.
Also,
If I saw Full Metal Alchemist, then I'll be like, damn, that's going to be impossible to do unless you have a massive budget.
Also, this new
Which
season,
clearly-
this new season of Last Airbender that's live action is actually being made by the original creators of the anime, so anime manga. So
Nice.
I feel like there's a lot of good news coming out of the anime world, manga
especially
world.
with
that whole
Netflix
thing
for some
recently.
reason, it's been pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, they do what they can with what they have, and people should try to remember that Japan
I live in England.
doesn't really have the budget for those types of.
I live in England.
big
Anything
Hollywood
that
movies.
gets announced as anime that's released here, we're like, yes.
But you guys don't need any CG or anything like that. Just go walk outside your door, film some werewolves jumping around, maybe killing somebody, doing their thing, and you got a movie.
Yeah.
Easy. You have the resources over there. You can make a low budget, big box office return hit.
So I can,
Yeah, but,
I can make
but see, it's almost a no-win situation for them because either the
live-action
Japanese
Hellsing.
studios make it and they don't have the great budget to do so, or it's done by Hollywood and everybody hates it because they whitewash the whole thing.
Almost like there's a way they could do it the right way around. And like,
Yeah, almost.
the project. It's like,
No way.
obviously that wouldn't appeal to Western audiences, so they wouldn't bother. This is the problem. That they want it to appeal to Western audiences, and apparently that means that people won't like anime despite wanting to watch it in the first place. So it's either upset the people that like the anime in the first place by an audience, or doing it the other way around and just making it pointless. And oh look, all the people who've already watched the other stuff will just not watch it anyway because it has American involvement.
Yeah, see, it's a no-win situation for everybody. Like, you look at Ghost in the Shell, like, they did a live action with Scarlett Johansson. Everybody refused to watch it because they whitewashed it. And
I watched it.
I actually enjoyed it. I didn't think it was as bad as everybody said it was. I think it followed the story pretty well
It's
from a lot of the
been-
key sequences that anime had. But they refused to watch it. A lot of people refused to watch it because of that.
Damn scruffy neckbeards.
Yeah.
This is
Normally
why...
they're all over Scarlett Johansson unless it's she's being cast in their minds the correct way.
Right.
Yeah, like this is why the Akira movie is never going to happen. Like it's been talked about for almost 15 years now, and it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, I don't see it happening without them
Keanu Reeves, dude.
pissing somebody off. Keanu Reeves.
Keanu
Kanye
Reeves as
West.
Kaneda, and Kanye West as Tetsuo. Yep.
Yeah.
He's insane enough, so it could work.
But careful, man. You don't want Kanye on you.
No, we don't want Kanye making a diss track on us.
Anyway, what you should never forget is that Takashi Miike made a JoJo's Beautiful Adventure film. Yeah, and it's,
JoJo's Beautiful Adventure? I thought it was Bizarre Adventure.
He meant bizarre.
Okay.
I knew what you meant, Neil.
Sorry.
Maybe it really was beautiful.
Maybe it was beautiful.
Maybe
Maybe it was a
yeah,
beautiful adventure.
It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It is beautiful.
Live
I've
action
never
film
watched that.
is actually one of the more bizarre, beautiful things to happen. So I think that's a fair description on that front.
I still have never watched JoJo's.
You're not
It's-
alone.
It's there's a reason it's called Bizarre Adventure. That show is fucking wild. It's crazy, but I love it.
It relies on a lot of
Shrooms.
American European stuff, and I like it for that. When animes do that, it's always fun. When they sort of interpretation of the Western side of stuff, I like seeing that. That's why games like in video games stuff like Devil May Cry and Resident Evil is like very much look, this is us doing American stuff. I love that side of it. It's much better than doing it the other way around a lot of the time.
Hello, fellow kids.
The fact that with that film as well, Takashi Miike, he just does bizarre shit so well. If you've ever watched the Happiness of the Katamaris, or even Audition, things like that, he just jumps from genre to genre so easily. He is a master of his craft, and he just does that so well. I mean, if you ever see the box art for the DVDs of that film, it's fucking wank. It's just like someone literally just got into Microsoft Word and typed the title out on the screen, and that is it. But quite admirably, it gives it a good go, considering how weird it is as a series. He's done very good on that regard. Anyway, we've got other things to cover, namely, Klaus, My Hero Academia.
My Hero. So we've all been kind of talking about when are they going to end this season 3, and well, we got our answer this week. So episode 63 is going to be the last episode for a while, it sounds like, guys. We get to know a little bit more about the big 3 at UA. So we've got the guy who looks like a Vault Boy on All Might's body.
Or in my case, he looks like if Ditto turned into All Might.
Ditto Might.
Ditto Might. All Ditto!
Yeah,
and it's still better than Miltan, so...
I still haven't gotten another one of those since that day.
I didn't know you could get them. Oh, don't they still turn into Dittos, though?
They do. But yeah, it's we can talk about that another time.
Well, Pokemon's still anime, so...
Well, we're talking about My Hero now. Come on. Don't make me hurt you,
My
Ben.
Heroes.
So yeah, we've got the big 3.
Yeah.
Mirio Togata, Nejire Hado, and Tamaki Amajiki. I think that was pretty close.
Yeah.
Amajiki is, what is it? He's compared to having the heart of a flea. He has this intense stare that has everybody all just frozen in fear, but so is he. And he can't do it. He's trying to picture them as potatoes. They told him, picture the class as potatoes, and you'll be fine. And he's get the stare. He's staring at them, and all of a sudden, bloop, everybody's head turns into a potato. In his view, and it still doesn't help him. And he's like, I can't do this.
I was kind of hoping that was his quirk, actually, to be honest.
That would have been hilarious. That would have been amazing, but no, it's like their version of trying to picture everybody in their underwear, but didn't work for him. So we don't get to know much about him. Then Nejire decides to start speaking up, and she has all of these questions for Class 1A. She's like, "Oh wow, well, I've heard about your quirk. Why are you wearing a mask? Oh, are you Todoroki? What's it like to get burned under there?" And Todoroki's sitting back there going like, what? And she's basically has the attention span of a kindergartner.
Of course, Best Boy gets, can I play with your balls?
That's sexual harassment. She didn't mean those balls.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. And then Aizawa's getting all frustrated with this because it's just not going anywhere. And he's like, we need to get this going. And so then Togata comes up and he's like, he's gonna try and explain how all this works with the work studies, but he's like, he figures it's better if he shows them. So he's like, I want you all to fight me at once. And they're like, what? So, well, they go fight him. They go to the gym, and a pretty amazing fight scene happens. We get to see what Togata's quirk is, and we get to learn a bit about him, which is very cool. Ben, you want to talk about Togata's quirk a little bit?
The word I can't say. I'm going to call him Ditto Mite for now. His perk is he has the ability of permanation. He can merge himself. He can sort of. If anyone who's watched Naruto, he can warp into solid matter and liquids actually as well, by merging his body in with the surface. But when he turns his quirk off, due to the collision of the because he's become solid, he actually gets pushed out of the material. In fact, he uses this to attack the enemy quite often. He showed it off with his little fight, where he was able to push himself forward to attack the team. He's also incredibly smart because he learned that it's best to go for the range first, using this and keeping them and then going for the close range afterwards, because
he also Go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, you can. Yeah.
I was just going to say he had also talked about everybody thinks that seems like an amazing quirk, but he gets into the fact where it's not as good as you think it is, because when he turns his quirk on, he slips naked through all matter. Yeah, he loses his clothes. He gets naked. He slips through all matter.
Yeah.
But not only does he pass through matter, light passes through his eyes.
Yeah.
Sound waves pass through his ears. Yeah. Sensations pass through his skin. He is basically deaf, dumb, mute, blind, everything.
Yeah.
And so while his quirk is active, he cannot, have any type of sensory input whatsoever. So it's really, for him to have taken a quirk that gives him that much of a detriment and turn it into such a positive, through his own hard work and determination, is actually pretty admirable and amazing.
Oh, it's incredible. And it would be scary the first time you unlock that. Yeah, the first time you get that quirk and you suddenly can't see, smell, hear, feel anything.
Just melted, and he's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
I'm sure he felt that way, and then he comes up and he's naked.
Yeah.
Didn't he also explain that he has to turn off his quirk on and off when it travels through each of his body parts? Like if he touch one leg, it he has to turn it off, but when he lifts it up, he has to turn it on to transfer it to the other leg.
Yep, because that was one thing he mentioned. If he wants to pass through a solid wall, if he were to turn his quirk on all at once, he would just go through the floor.
Yep.
But if he turns it on everything except for one leg, he passes through, turns it off on the other leg as it's passed through, and sets it down on the ground, and then turns it on the other leg, he can get through. For something that seems so simple, they're actually showing this as a very complex set of actions.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that the show is really going into that depth and being a little bit more correct with their physics. However, the whole ejecting out of the ground is a little bit crazy, but it's a nice way of explaining it.
A collision detection glitch.
Yeah, it's very video game-ish, but I know, like I said, realistically, it'd be more like he'd end up being stuck in there. But I like how they've implemented that, but to have other pieces of it be a little bit more realistic, it just shows that they're really thinking ahead with all these different quirks and to make them believable.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
You come up with an idea, and then they're like, so what is their weakness, or what makes this power difficult, or how can we tweak it so that it's a power everybody's seen before in every other anime ever, but they're making all of the powers actually interesting and unique in their own. Yeah.
It's not like he's just Superman or something like that, where he's just impervious to everything.
Oh, and he also showed off how smart he is by showing off one of his ultimate techniques where he goes for the eye. But in fact, that's not. He's not really going for the eye. That's just a trick, because he knows that people would try and block it. So in fact, punches the stomach while he's doing that.
Yep, because Midoriya, who's no slouch as well, is watching all of Togata's moves, and he's like, he's taken up all the ranged attackers, so now he's gonna come after all the close combat ones, and he's like pop up behind everybody. So Midoriya is waiting for him, and he's ready to try and block him, and that's when he goes for the eyes and takes out Midoriya, and then proceeds to take out everybody else in about 6 seconds flat.
Yeah.
But he's all afraid of that, and scared that he's showing his willy to the girls.
Yeah, he apologized afterwards.
I'm sorry, I don't want you to see my willy. And that's what he calls it. He calls it his willy.
Yeah.
My willy. He doesn't like that his quirk has him free willy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not sorry.
One could say that his quirk makes him cock up a lot.
Oh my god, man.
He's got a perky quirk.
You're fired. You're fired, man.
Yeah.
You're so fired.
Togata comments on Midoriya's quick thinking, as he calls him the troublemaker because he met him after he was under house arrest for the fight with Bakugo.
Yeah.
But he says he seems like somebody that Sir would like.
Yeah.
Sir being the hero that he did his work study under. But who is this Sir? We really don't know. We get a small glimpse of somebody that's called Sir, but we've never seen him before.
I thought it was the person we see later on.
Yeah, it is. But is it? No, that one seems like an actual hero, though.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm assuming we'll learn a lot more about him.
Unless the twist is it's All Might.
But and then we also see what is the villain's name?
Twice.
Oh no, Twice. But that was the one he's bringing there. Over something.
Oversight. Over. It was over something.
Yeah,
we're over him either way.
2 seconds. It is Overhaul. That's who it is.
Sounds like a Transformer.
Yep. Roll out. So Twice is bringing this villain Overhaul that we saw in the previous episode to go meet the rest of the League of Villains, and so not only are the hero class moving forward, but Deku in the voiceover is talking about how this person Overhaul is apparently going to be very important in the upcoming story and how he became the greatest hero ever. So we've got a little bit of an introduction to potentially his rival or his arch enemy. So yeah, that's basically how the season ends.
That's how season 3 ends, and then we see some teasers of All Might and One for All and then they announce season 4.
And we have to figure out when the hell we get that. Hopefully it's not too long because
Spring
I really like this show. Shut up, Ben.
Fall 2020.
Shut up, Gary.
No! Hey, if it is spring though, that's gonna be what? One Punch Man, Psycho Mob, and My Hero at the same time.
Dude. Well,
Too
I'm not
busy.
going to have any time for anything.
One Punch!
Right?
But it's okay because Attack on Titan will be over. Fairy Tail will be over by then. Probably not. It's probably going to be like 60 episodes. We'll see.
Yeah, so we're going to have that going for about a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know what the end can mean. Yeah.
And we can always fall back on One Piece and Gintama because those shows never fucking end.
Yeah, One Piece will be here till we're all dead.
I mean, we'll still have Boruto.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to go for quite a while, I'm sure.
For those who are also interested, there have been some small rumors going around that there might be a collaboration comic book of My Hero and DC Comics coming very soon.
Ooh.
Nani?
Nani?
Much like
DC, DC's trying to
much
become
like
relevant.
DC, well, DC Comics has had crossovers now with Batman and the Ninja Turtles, which is actually pretty good. And they've also had a crossover with Green Lantern and Star Trek.
They've also had Batman and Elmer Fudd.
This is true.
They
And
also
Scooby-Doo.
had- What you call it? Yeah.
But those are... They don't have a lot of traction, but they are there. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, nothing beats Marvel, though, with Eminem versus the Punisher.
Oh, my God.
In which Eminem fights the Punisher. And the Punisher fires rocket launchers at Eminem.
Eminem has mom spaghetti.
Good. That's a good comic right there. It's almost as good as that comic where Batman fights jazz music.
God damn it, Ben.
All of
Anyways,
Anyway, yeah. Let's
I
continue.
thought I'd just point that out. In other news of My Hero, if you don't mind me segueing into this, Neil.
You go.
The My Hero Academia 2 Heroes movie has released in North America to astounding success, apparently. It brought in $1.8 million in just 2 days in a handful, well, not a handful, about 40 theaters across the country. And it managed to do more than the 2 big movies released, which includes Predator and The Nun. And
on a per theater basis.
yes. Well, overall for that week, it was the #1 movie in theaters, which says a lot. It barely managed to get past the biggest anime movie of theater releases, which was Resurrection Frieza, which topped out at about 1.8 million. This was My Hero Academia.
Frieza.
My Hero Academia did about 1.85, so by about 50,000, it managed to squeeze past it. So big sign for the times, I guess. I mean, an anime movie releasing in theaters and outperforming 2 massive blockbuster movies.
We are taking over the world. Be aware of this. It is coming.
Come on, give us a wider release next time, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a big step. I mean, if they really look at it and they're seeing how well they're doing with the limited release, they might start releasing these big movies.
I mean, if they did 1.8 million
for a longer period
on 40 theaters in a week's time, that only has about 2 showings per day.
in 2 days,
max.
yeah, in 2 days, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty insane.
That is,
It's really good.
considering bigger budget, having very very poor weekends on a much wider screening basis, including, as you said, the Predator.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Hellfest was the other horror movie that was out that week that critically doing very well, commercially not doing very well at all. I think actually Hellfest made less money on more screens, if I'm right, and yeah, that's surprising. So that's something that's got Tony Todd, a horror icon in it. So that's
Yeah.
My Hero
Yeah,
Academia.
it's huge. I mean, recently we also had a lot of people really upset with the Academy Awards because her name, is it her name?
Your name?
Your Name, yes. Your Name was snubbed from an Academy Award, which a lot of people believed it should have been nominated for Best Animated Feature.
One, hands down, without a doubt. It's one of the best animated films.
Mm-hmm. People thought it would be, too, because it also released in theaters, and it was incredibly successful in theaters here as well.
Critically, it did fucking gangbusters. It was amazing critically. That's the thing that baffles me, because a lot of the movies that go up for Academy Awards don't necessarily make a lot of the box office. About that, so
yeah,
it should have won. It's strange that it's those categories where anything, the popular things tends to win out over the critically well received film.
Well, that's the Academy Awards and all those fucking award shows in general. That's
in every other
what they do.
Yeah, but in every other category in the Academy Awards, it just seems like in categories like that, they're like, oh, we didn't give a shit. It's like, oh, best makeup, that can go to any film. We didn't give a shit. It doesn't matter if it cost $500 million to make. If it had good makeup, we can give it an award because it's not a major award. We don't see it as important, and they like that with animation. That's why you'll see. That's why an Ice Age film, I'm sure, has won an Oscar. Because
I mean, if you look at it, it was really just 3D movies that keep winning things. I mean, sure, back in the day, you had things like Batman: Mask of the Phantasm won 2 Academy Awards. Sure, they're mostly for sound design and music, but been nominated. I mean, outside of when you look at Japanese movies, outside of nothing else was ever nominated. They were literally the only ones, and even then, they kind of after I believe it was like Princess Mononoke. After that, they kind of just started Japanese animated movies anymore.
Yeah, there were so many films after that where they could easily have been nominated or won awards, and they didn't.
And it's just
came out. That should have won from the pack it was in. Didn't even get nominated, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, so this is, I think, a fantastic step forward to see 3 animated movies with Your Name, Resurrection F making these huge numbers, and now My Hero again in the short amount of time. It's just 2 days in theaters, and they're doing more than.
I'm sorry. I love My Hero, but I really
blockbusters in a week.
I really think the new Dragon Ball movie will overtake it.
Oh, Brawly can. Yeah, Brawly could do it. It's just to hear that all of a sudden in 1 year we're getting 2 Japanese animated movies in theaters. Like, that's before it was like what, 1 every 5-10 years if we were lucky. Now it's just
like sometimes
back to back, and I'm hoping this is going to be a big trend going forward for that market, because a lot of them deserve it. They deserve that recognition, that mainstream, because they get it through their hardcore fans, and obviously people who have Crunchyroll, Funimation, they give it all the praise, but it's not of praise that for the casual fans, I think. And this is a great way to forward.
We're at the precipice of it, of this about to, I shouldn't say precipice, but I should say it could go 2 ways. We're going to see this explosion that's going to go even more mainstream, and it's not just otakus, weebos, and neckbeards that are enjoying anime again. I still am on the whole, the My Little Pony thing, and like it's kind of coming down a lot. Its 8th season just finished, but when you're kind of sitting back and watching this happen, like we've been fans of anime for years, and just to kind of sit back and watch, we're seeing this, like what happened with video games, where, we're the ones that saved the princesses and conquered the dungeons and that, and all of a sudden it's mainstream and, people are getting multi-million-dollar deals and that, but we were seeing something that we've loved for so long become more mainstream, and it's just a really great feeling and a really cool feeling. And just be prepared for all the standard stuff that happens with that. You know, the wannabes, the I was here before, the hipsterisms, I knew it before. I watched anime before. It was cool. Like,
and you also have.
You watch Akira doesn't mean you watch anime. That's what I watched Akira. It was great. Okay, that was like 30 years ago. Good job, man.
I mean, it's fucking great. To be fair, you can't deny that. But
no,
you will also get that with the mainstream media, where they condescend it. You get it with video games. You get it with any genre piece of anything. You'll get a lot of condescending behavior towards it. Where I work, horror gets that a lot, where any horror that's highbrow or intelligent is instantly dubbed a thriller in media.
Right? I agree with that. That's bullshit.
It's a dirty word, and it's why like your name gets distanced from anime. Because it's sophisticated in how it does its plot. It still does some of the things that genre does, but gets described. It doesn't get called an anime. It doesn't get called this, that, and the other. It is distanced as being it's an animated film, which is fine, but it's done in such a way which is like, we just don't want to use the dirty word. This dirty word is horrible. We don't want to go near that. And it's the same with video games. The same with anime. That's the stigma. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of the piss boys live, and get angry about everything and say, it's if it doesn't get accepted as it is, we riot, sort of thing. And it's unfortunate. But, progress will be made. These are young mediums. When you think anime and video games are very young mediums in themselves, that they are still going to have time to grow and be more accepted.
Yeah, the only thing I want to add to this is that, unfortunately, this is primary Funimation doing. All the movies that have released in theaters have been Funimation, at least published in the States. So maybe it's because they have the money to be able to do it, and the others just don't. But I hope that it does continue with other anime studios. But right now, between those three that I mentioned, Your Name and Resurrection F has been all Funimation releasing those movies in theaters. So they're taking risk. Yeah, they're taking the risk of doing that. It could cost them a lot of money doing that, but it's great to see that money being returned in this way for them.
Definitely, because a lot of the revered films have been discovered afterwards in Japanese animation, especially where stuff like Time, someone was The Boy and the Beast, and all the Ghibli stuff generally has been popular after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at Totoro. Totoro is like this major, big thing in the West now, of what people love in terms of Japanese animation, but it's a film that came out 30 years ago. Again, like Akira, it's just managed to resonate with people long after the fact. I mean, that's still something that modern anime should do. It should resonate with people, not just because like back in the day it was scarce and people were like, oh wow, this is amazing because we don't get to see much of this. Now, now we get a glut of it everywhere. But stuff will get popular like it does in the cinema with My Hero, and it's good in the meantime that it is popular because in general people like the series, so the movie's going to do well anyway. But if the quality is there, remembered, like your Akira, like your Totoros, things like Spirited Away, it will get time and this whole pantheon of greats that push the medium forward. And that's what we want more than anything. Money is great, but it has to have that lasting legacy as well, I think.
Yeah, I think as fans we want quality over quantity too, because there's a lot of not so good anime out there.
There's a lot of shit out there. There's a lot of shit anime.
No way.
Well, I would say probably 70% of it is just absolute trash.
Again, it's the same any medium.
Exactly, any medium.
You will get the cream that rises to the top. And with anime, because the tropes are very much ingrained, and it is very young in what it does. It does break away even slightly. It's exciting because, oh wow, this is doing something a bit different, or it's subverting the trends, and that's great. But yeah, we get baby steps, and there are of course things that do it right. They'll take those tropes and go, yeah, okay, we accept these are the tropes. We'll still do them, but we'll do them really damn well and polish them up nicely. And they tend to be the shows that works, successful. That's why you get My Hero, One Punch, and Attack on Titan, things that take all those things and make them work in their favor, and work for Western audiences. I think, especially, is again the major factor here.
Yeah.
Nice
discussion we had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
always insightful.
You wouldn't think, but we are capable. We are capable of. We're
all sitting here in top hats and monocles, drinking tea and smoking fancy cigarettes. Just so our listeners know, that's how. This is what we're doing.
I'm actually sitting in a Japanese sci-fi movie T-shirt, drinking Budweiser in front of a laptop. So no.
We're going to break the whole fourth wall there, Neil. Come on.
I went AFK during the speeches so I could turn on the fire.
I think Klaus and Alphonse weren't here earlier because this happened during the earlier podcast, the PlayStation Unchained. But we have confirmed today that I am wearing clothing for this podcast than I have any podcast previously. So that's something.
He is tooled up. He is.
Wow.
If he was in an anime show, people would say he was unrealistic.
Of all the things they say.
Anyway, Chris, we are actually moving over to you now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The segue worked nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Like me, you've been away, but unlike me, you are still very much tied to this podcast and its rotation. So you have been watching various things that have been recommended and suggested over the last few weeks, and you obviously have thoughts on these things, and while we want to hear them, succinct if you can.
So I'll make it very. I had planned actually, since today ended up working out that I made it back. Just want to say sometimes life kicks you in the balls, and sometimes it will do it multiple times over the course of several weeks. And it will do it after you just had an awesome vacation. So don't have too much fun out there. Your karma's going to dip back down into that valley on that roller coaster.
Man, I totally agree. One day off, and I'm like, oh shit, where did all this work come from? I was like, where did all this stuff happen from?
It was just, it's been ridiculous. And I wanted basically each week, I watched the shows, or I watched what I could. I binged as much as I could to get caught up. Because it just when you do something for free out of love, sometimes life has to make it take a back seat. And unfortunately, that's what it was. But I am caught up as much as I can, and I did have some thoughts I just wanted to share about each of your recommendations. I want to start with Klaus and ID0. I know it caught a bit of hate on here, and I was kind of sad about that because I loved it. I mean, super awesome space robots fighting in space, weird entities, strange mystery surrounding everything. Like, it just had everything for me, and it really did it for me, including a very not super tearful. I was tearful a little bit at the end, but thank you for that recommendation, Klaus. I really enjoyed ID0.
It was a sentient rock. Seriously?
You're a sentient rock.
Of all people, Gary, I thought you could have enjoyed
Drinking
this.
this beer, goddammit.
It had a very Agatha Christie type twist towards the end that I really appreciated. So I was rather
have sentient
surprised.
Rocks in her books. What are you talking about?
It's not about that. it's about Ito's identity. Well, anyways, I just wanted to say that I enjoyed that for what I loved the characters, loved the setting.
The rocks.
Yep, that thing was cool. I liked the spaceship designs. I thought that was really cool. The satellite designs on the. Anyways, overall,
it was something different, right?
Yes, it was. It was, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the 3D anime too in it. The 3D animation.
I'm glad somebody else enjoyed it.
Yeah, guys, come on.
I said I didn't mind it.
But it doesn't mean you enjoyed it.
But that doesn't mean I disliked it.
Semantics aside.
Potato, potato.
Tomato. Kratos. Then next we had Michiko and Hachin, which...
Yes.
Which, oh my god. I gotta say, Gary, I also missed... Here's what happens. I also missed when we did the Ajin Demi-Human discussion. And I fucking loved Ajin Demi-Human. Gary recommended Michiko and Hachin, and that's when the shit hit the fan. So I'm thinking every time Gary recommends an amazing... Nothing bad is going to happen in my life. So we'll see what happens next week. Or the week after, whenever.
Man, I wish I had this effect on our government.
Right? I managed.
Why don't you move to Washington then?
Ooh, we could be onto something. But God, Michiko and Hachin was like a Tarantino miniseries that just it was so unexpected and so refreshing and just so beautifully done. I only had very small, if any, gripes about it, and it was just because really my only gripe was I wanted more. I wanted more of every single one of those characters. I wanted more of this desolate... This was like... We've had discussions before on what the worst worlds to live in, like character, video game, anime, whatever worlds to live in. I would fucking hate to live in this world. This was one of the most depressing, just miserable fucking experiences that these
This is a reality
have.
world, dude.
Let me finish. No, let me finish. These are just miserable existences, and then you realize that this is happening here now in our world, and they're not showing it in a happy light. This wasn't, and they show you that early on with the basically the mirror of them, the girl and her younger sister, the stripper and her younger sister, that this isn't going to be a happy outcome for everybody, and it just gets its hooks into you, and you need to know, because you don't expect the certain people to survive at that point. You don't know who's going to survive, and it just, oh my god, it hooked me. The lessons that it pretty much showed you about life and these people's existences, and just this, I thought it was a really accurate representation of Brazil and kind of how life is in the favelas, and not everybody makes it out okay down there. And it was just, but the characters were amazingly enjoyable. Even the villains were just so fantastic. The backgrounds, the histories, just everything it gave you. I just, top notch. It's a very excellent recommendation, Gary. I absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
And then what do we have? Yuri on Ice. Oh my god, where's Tim? I need Tim here.
Oh my god.
Ben, your recommendation for Yuri on Ice just, it was so much absolute homoerotic fun that I'm a little gay now for it, and I love it. And I was thinking of you guys while I beautiful romance on ice skate out, or it was so much fun. I really had no problems with this, and the happy after Michiko and Hachin, I'm happy, a warm fuzzy happy story to make me feel all warm and tingly inside, and also to make me not question my sexuality because I'm already very comfortable with it, but just enjoy it so much more. So yeah, Yuri on Ice was something amazing, and it was so homo that all I could think about the whole time I was watching it was all you fine folk, especially Tim and Gary. I just wanted to be in the same room with you guys, stroking your goatees on the bed while we're watching this together.
Wow.
And then after that was Gunslinger Girl, or as I like to call it, Violet Evergarden, the prequel, in a much darker world. Holy shit! That one was just excellent. another kind of dip into a dark, grim world of child soldiers. But I enjoyed that. I know Tim recommended that one. I wanted to let him know. It's one that I've been meaning to watch.
Did you like the name I gave that podcast?
Oh, I missed it. What was it?
We forgot about the child slavery.
I love it so much. Oh, God damn it! Yeah, so I didn't listen to that last podcast last week, unfortunately. But yeah, no, it's all been. It was just more show. It was another anime showing the world and kind of the best of it at the same time. Not as enjoyable as dark animes, not as enjoyable as Michiko and Hatchin, because that had a certain charm to it amongst the darkness. And yeah, anytime you have an anime that the first episode talks about child rape, you're in for another ride there. Cool action though, definitely some awesome action. And yeah, that was more or less all I had to share. And now I've been watching this week's anime. I'll let them say. I'll segue into it from here, which brings us to this week's anime, which I've been trying to get caught up on. I'm not that far into it, but I guess take it away.
Basically, I
wasn't sure if you wanted to do it or if Alphonse wanted to take it, because it was his glorious recommendation.
The intro, and I will pass it to Alfonso. But yeah, the anime in question is, of course, How Not to Summon a Dragon. Sorry, Demon Lord. It's so similar. I'm sorry, so similar. It's unbelievable. I mean, obviously not the plot, because Christ, kids would be scarred, but the plot was the same in any way.
That's a kids movie I'd let my kids see.
I'm reminded of the scene in Fight Club when Slice is in the porn and the girl's crying in the.
It would bring a whole new meaning to the name Hiccup. A quick overview of what we are going into before we get to Alfonso. So Sakamoto Takuma was so strong in the MMORPG Cross Reverie that his fellow players came to call him the Demon Lord. One day he gets summoned to another world in his avatar form and meets two girls, of course, who both insist that they are the one who summoned him. They cast a spell used to enslave summon beast on him, but that activates his unique ability. Sorry, line too quick. Magic Reflect, and the girls end up being the ones put under the spell. Begins the otherworldly adventure of a demon lord, pretend, who blazes his own trail through overwhelming power. This is a 4-star rated anime on Crunchyroll, and here to lead us into the review section of this very anime is Alfonso Boxel, the man who chose this very anime. Alfonso.
Yes. So I chose this week's anime, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. Let's just get it out of the way. This is a very sexual anime from beginning to end. And we will discuss this as the episodes.
Oh, yeah.
We'll discuss that as the episodes.
From the outset, I think we should be awarding this because, yes.
I hope you got a big stack of those things.
Yeah, we're going to need a lot of those. To be fair, though, the last few weeks we haven't really used any, so we've been stocking them up for this week. And then we're going to unleash our loads all over this anime.
Oh, and I've been building up for 4 weeks, and you know I've got a lot to say about this one.
Oh, gosh.
I have a lot to unleash backed up here.
We've got some sticky situations ahead of us.
Oh, dear.
I made a terrible mistake by recommending this.
Oh, you made the best choice.
Okay,
so just from my own volition. I didn't realize that this was the anime of the week. I watched it just from someone else saying something about it, and yeah, I ended up watching some of it, and so luckily I can be involved in the conversation when it comes up. Please, Alfonso, go on.
Luckily or unluckily?
Why not both?
Well, it means I get to talk more.
Yeah.
That's a good or a bad thing, depending on how you feel. But involved in one of the things we're talking about for once. So that's good. But Alfonso, sorry, you may carry on.
So we meet a boy named Sakamoto Takuma. He's on his computer, playing his game as his avatar named Diablo. All of a sudden, you see a big flash of light, and he's transported into the Cross Ravine, where he's transported as his avatar, Diablo, and he's in front of two girls, and they was asking, saying, did it work? They're not sure. He's confused. You don't know where he's at. But you notice that they have collars around their neck. Well, it looks like horseshoes in a way, but clamped onto their neck. And long story short, they cast a spell to bring him there because of their own personal needs. But because he's a powerful character, he has this ability called Magic Reflection, where it's reverse the spell and basically enslave them. So he basically owns them, which is so messed up in so many ways. In so many ways. So they meet. So the big, what her name is? Oh God, what's her name? The one with the big tits.
The big titty girl, Shira.
Sarah.
Yeah, Shira. So
1 second,
she's an elf. Shira is an elf who's actually part of a wealthy. She comes from a wealthy family, and her story is that she doesn't want to go back home. She don't want to do her responsibilities. She want to be an adventurer and be our own home. Then you got the flat-chested one named Rem, who has a more personal problem. She actually has the real demon lord inside her. They never said how. I don't remember. Did they explain how she?
It's hereditary.
Oh yeah, it's hereditary. So it gets passed on from.
Yeah, her mother had it.
Mother. So, but her problem is that she actually needs Diablo to help her release it, so she can kill it and finally be free. So they get more acquainted. They go to the village to see how they're able to take off the collar. At the time, it can't be done. So they decided, let's do some missions until we find the time to take off the collar. But before they do it, they have to get registered. Rem is already registered. Diablo needs to get registered. Shara needs to get registered. Shara does so, and she finds out she's a level 30. She's under Rem. When Diablo does it, the mirror, she's so powerful that the mirror turns black and can't register his power at all. So they all classify him as a special case.
You forgot to mention earlier, we did find out early on what his level was.
Okay, yeah, he did mention that his level is 150, and he noticed that in the village that he is, that no one comes compared to him, which I have a problem with that. I don't.
Well, no, he also realizes that everything is under-leveled compared to what it is in the game.
Yeah,
like
the town
enemies that he's fighting should be a lot higher than they actually are, and abilities that he's going up against should be a lot more powerful than they are.
And
I like how they explain this.
The town they're in, it should be level 60 plus, but they're walking around at like level 30.
Well, no, the salamander that got summoned on him was level 30. Pretty much everybody else is like at level 1. Like level 30 to them was godly. That's why he used it. And when he dispatched it so easily, he's like, I'm level 150. And they're like, what? Nobody can exist that high! And yeah, and I really love the explanation why is you die here, you die. So only the bravest of the brave.
Kind of similar to like Sword Line, you know.
Sorry, you're mistaken. It's similar to Dot Hack. Came first.
Sorry, Dot Hack. Yeah, sorry.
It did it first.
Simpson did
But
it.
that's the problem I have with Diablo. Yeah, I understand the concept of the whole leveling thing, but I don't like overpower people already from the beginning. There's no growth. Like everything that he's done throughout the episodes fairly has been kind of easy for him. Yes, he struggled barely in certain episodes, but he still managed to pull it off. And I don't like characters like that.
Diablo's fight isn't with the all the other enemies. The fight is with himself, because his character, his avatar that he was summoned into, may be overpowered, but the person behind that, him, is severely underleveled. He is very, very, he's a shut-in. He has no social skills whatsoever, and the fact that he is interacting with these women and all these other people, I mean, you see it in every interaction. He's like, how do I deal with this? I don't know how to do this. And he just ends up going in the whole demon lord mode, and he tries to
that's
intimidate
how he gets by. That's how he gets by. Like, he does.
He's always
great.
gotten by. Yeah.
Well, he does great when he plays the demon lord. Anytime, but his himself is this just weak, unconfident, shut in, who was given the chance to do something great as any of those, the Bruce Almighty things. Like, and all right, here.
And that's the growth that we're seeing in the game, or in this particular series.
You're not wrong.
So I know what you're saying, Alfonso, that the character is OP, but the actual person within that is where we're seeing the character development and growth coming from.
I actually really like the fact that he's OP. I think it's a nice different twist to something that's common, where everybody's underpowered and they find a way to defeat something that is infinitely more powerful than them. I like to see a character who is so overpowered and how he deals with that power. And we see that in this. Like, he's super powerful
kind
and he
like
knows
one
it.
Punch in a way.
Mm-hmm. Well, one punch is that, but it is so much more.
Yeah, like he's overpowered, but he doesn't quite know exactly how overpowered he is. Yeah. So he's constantly using these abilities, knowing they're powerful, but he doesn't realize the damage that they're gonna do. Like the move that he used when he was fighting all those like werebeasts
falling on the bridge, yeah.
But no,
like,
hold on, Gary, hold on. He does kind of know, because he said it himself that he has to hold back on his power. That's why he went and got a different weapon.
Says that because he is supposed to be the demon lord. He's pretty much talking himself up, not realizing that what he's saying is the truth. He doesn't know that he's that like he doesn't believe that he's actually as powerful as he actually is.
Yeah.
He's saying it to keep up the persona that he's the demon lord.
Yeah, I mean you can see that when he like, whoa, okay. Like his own astonishment at both things that him realizing how powerful he is at first, and the things, because one of the big things that he also has to overcome is some of the rules for the game are different in this world. Like, he finds out there are no teleportation spells, so no matter how powerful he is, he can't do them. So he is also discovering his weakness for these real world rules, in addition to his strength. Which we were talking about, like character growth, and I think this really aids that, in that the character Diablo that he's playing as is also growing, because he's not as all powerful in some regards as he thought he was, but he's faking it until he makes it, and
exactly. He's pretty much faking it and then actually succeeding in his copping out, like. Like we saw later on, where he fights that older guy who is obviously way more powerful than even he thought, and we see that he almost actually loses that fight because he doesn't realize that he's going up against a character who should be a lot weaker than he is. Powerful, like you guys have said, in this world, things seem to be a little different than they are in the game. almost lost that fight, not realizing that.
He doesn't know how invincible he is, because that fight on the bridge, he gets hit with her most powerful attack. I forget her name. She joins them later, but
Edelgard.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Edelgard.
Yeah, she hits him with that attack, and he takes it, kind of just stands up and like brushes it off. But then he's like, "Oh wow, that actually hurt. Okay, so that's what taking damage feels like. It just feels early on. I don't know how. Like I said, I haven't gotten much farther into the series, but I don't know like if he keeps learning more. It sounds like he keeps learning more and more about this world. So there's always something new for him to figure out as it goes on, and that's something I really enjoy about him interacting with. That brings his interaction into the world. As far as like he knows what he read about in the lore and what he played, but here's like what's actually happening, and he's like got to compare that and figure things out. So he's not dumb either. He's actually a pretty intelligent kid. I mean,
when it comes to the game, yeah. Everything else, he's
that's it.
But
he's not dumb with like. I mean, math and things like that, I don't think he's dumb with either in the technical sense, because he's playing the RPG. He knows at least enough to figure out leveling in that. He's a standard gamer. I think he'd be like any one of us if we were to fall into that world. And
if I fell into Final Fantasy XIV, I want Ben to be there to put me on his back and carry me.
Yes. So it'd be no different from in the real world.
Exactly.
Oh my god!
I was like, we must find the mythical creature Chili. He will save us in this world.
I see Chili sitting at an altar up high in the mountains, meditating. Like
Lord help us all if we get sucked into high.
He's like, let me put you on my back, and we will carry forward.
But what can you offer me?
I have.
I wouldn't
Ghost
ask
pepper.
for anything. I'd be like, "Yay, Gary!
Yeah.
Let's go punch
Ben is lovingly generous. Like in real life, everybody, all our listeners, I want you to know Ben is the absolute most genuine, lovingly generous guy you could ever meet, next to Gary.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Take that, dude. What?
Yes. Sorry, I kind of took over. Can I just say, like, as I watch a lot of harem anime, I didn't know if you guys knew that or not. It's something I keep on the down low. My love of harem animes and
Twitter bio, to be fair, that should be your description.
Oh yes. But as far as like harem quality animes go, just from all the ones I've seen, there's always I hate main characters that are oblivious dumbasses. I just hate it. Rosario Vampire I loved. Main character didn't really like so much. Monster Musume absolutely loved. Had a great main character, great female characters. It wasn't anything too wacky. I know Gary had his reservations on it. And that's putting it mildly. But and there's other, like Sekirei and things like that but this anime is, I think, one of the better harem animes I've ever watched. Basically right now it's like Monster Musume, High School DD, and this is now in third place because I really like the main character. I like the female side characters because even though, it is bouncy, jiggly, fun, the characters are likable and they're strong in their own way. I never like animes where the females feel like they're just there for eye candy. This is kind of borderline on that. I mean, they're definitely there for the fun of it, and it's definitely a very pervy anime in all the right ways. But the main character is saving it as he's kind of having his own personal battle between himself finally having girls fawning over him and people loving him for his power. And it makes his character endearing. And then the other girls, even though he's having fun with them, and you can kind of see the feelings develop, they never feel just fucking oh my god, like I'm so it just I really liked all of the characters. The night chick kind of reminded me of like Urza. I forget.
Alyssa?
Yeah. I mean, all of the characters had their charms. They're saving this anime from becoming another cliched. Neckbeard gets pulled into an anime world with big titties and has to, learn a lesson about himself. Like this one is definitely one of the most enjoyable ones I've ever seen, and I'm looking forward to finishing this out and whatever else comes of it because I'm already enjoying all the characters. My take on it.
It is definitely in that category, without a shadow of a doubt, as an anime. But it does rise above that. In tiny ways, it doesn't try to be too sincere in doing that. It doesn't. Oh, look, we're trying to be serious about this shit. We really want to be taken seriously about it. No, it knows what it is. Takes it a bit further, which is always welcome. You can understand the tropes of anime. That's fine, and take it wherever you want with that. Do something a bit inventive or out the box with it. And I feel like this, as an anime, from what I've seen, does take it a little outside that box, which is fine. And weeks I've been away, the stuff I'd watched before, there was plenty of stuff that was very much in that box, not giving a shit about doing anything inventive or new or fresh. And this, at least, it's not great. It's not the greatest try, but it tries, and admirable given so much of the content that comes out there.
These are special titties, people.
My God, I watched the 10 dubbed episodes. There are just so people know, this anime is ongoing. It's not over. I believe they have 13 episodes total right now.
12 or 13 so far.
And
12, I believe.
10 of them are dubbed, so the other 2 are still subtitled. But I got through all 10 of the dubbed episodes. I actually thought there's only the 10. I didn't know that there's more until Chewy told me today. But to me, I think this anime in particular does so many good things. Like, I feel like the combat is fun to watch. The animation is really good. The voice cast is really good for the dubbed, for people who want to watch that.
Yes, really good.
Yeah. Even the story is very intriguing. Like, there's a lot of nice build-up going into it. And I love the characters. But to me, I feel like the sexual tropes in it are just cheap. No, I feel like because they know that it's going to get some sort of arousal out of people. I'm not talking sexually, but you know what I mean. Like humor-wise.
The word you used was a well-placed pun.
There you go. That's why they do it. And like the episodes when he wakes up and like his hands are on her boobs and the other girl's boobs, and he's like, "I'm trying to let go, but I can't." It just feels like it's so cheap. I feel like the humor they could have gotten out of it could have been done a lot better. And to me, it gets to the point where it's just borderline porn.
I know, those were the best parts. I mean,
and the problem
has gotten to the episode where he's trying to help. Is it Rin, the girl with the demon?
Yeah, Rin.
When he's trying to help her get rid of that demon, and what he has to do.
Oh my God!
In order to do it, is just straight up porn. Like, there's no other way around it. The only thing they don't do is...
No, we won't. We won't.
Unleash your load!
I figured it was something like that, honestly.
Like, it's funny because
his power into me.
Like, it's so unnecessary. Like, it's like watching, to me. Okay, for those who've never watched it, it is a a hentai porno. It's called Nightmare Campus. There's a lot of sex and stuff, but for those who have watched...
Sex and stuff in a hentai? Oh, Gary.
Just hear me out. For those who have actually watched it, the fighting is great. It's about like demons living at a high school. And the combat is great. It's super violent, like a lot of blood and gore, beheadings and all that shit. Like that's what this reminds me of, just without the actual straight up nudity and sex.
It's right up to the line. It's about as close as they can get.
It's literally
right on the line, yeah.
I mentioned it on Fantasy 14 earlier today because I was doing a dungeon. And they're like, oh, I'm surprised Hulu let that on, they said. So, okay.
Yeah, and I just feel like it really holds it back and distracts it from all the great things that it does, in my opinion.
The boobies.
Because it's just constant. It's just a constant thing. Like every time anything funny comes up in that show, it's always has to be sexual.
Well, that's what they were going for in it. So,
because in my opinion, because it's cheap and it's easy.
I get your point, and I agree. It's you're cheap. You're cheap and easy. You're a towel. I agree with where you're going on it, Gary. Because I think that there's enough good here that it could stand on its own as
saying like everything else is so well done, and I feel like that type of humor, especially in this day and age, is holding it back because it's been done in almost every harem. Actually, any anime that has humor pretty much goes to this same thing. It's like, oh, I saw this girl's panties. I'm freaking out now because I've never seen it before. I mean, come on. You watch porn. Everybody watches porn at your age. You're telling me you've never seen porn before?
The bloody nose gag never gets old.
Yeah, I was going to say,
as
how
long
dare
as
you
there's
take
anime.
the piss out of the old bloody nose joke.
And that's the problem. See, you're saying that. It never gets old. And that's why they continue to do it. In my opinion, it does get old.
I don't know. I see nothing wrong.
And
I see nothing wrong with a well done ecchi. Okay.
Exactly.
Neither am I. Once in a while is fine, but this is every single episode.
Well, I'm talking about this whole thing as an ecchi series. I think there's a place to have a well written, well done, good story, sexualized anime that's not hentai.
Mm-hmm.
Like Yuri on Ice.
Yeah, you're an Ice.
You guys can't.
Yeah.
No. Yuri on Ice single-handedly ruined male figure skating's lives because now everybody thinks they're gay.
Are you kidding, dude?
In the real world, everybody thinks they're gay now.
I'm into figure skating now, like totally. I'm watching it for the gay figure now.
Sorry. Before, I'm sorry. It is very much. It was thought of as a flamboyant thing before anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least in England, it's always considered the flamboyant sport.
Nothing has changed there. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. You cannot go wrong there. Anyway, I think we should do ratings from what we've watched on this very anime. We'll start with...
I didn't really hear what Klaus had to think. He didn't really give his input so much about it.
Well, I guess I liked it. I thought that the animation was great. I thought that this, like I said, the character was very overpowered. But like I said, himself as the character within was where we were seeing the growth and the development and his interactions with Shera and Rem and the rest of the townspeople, the Adventurers Guild, the others in power, and how he was dealing with that and how he progressed from the beginning all the way to the end. I really appreciated that. Like I said, yes, it was very highly sexualized. Like I said, it just coming short of being hentai. But like I said, I really did enjoy it, and I thought it was well done overall.
It's relatable for those of us that work in customer service and retail because we do exactly what he does every day. We're people, we put on that face, we play the demon lord to get our jobs done, and then we go back home and
touch people's boobies and not go to prison?
Hey, I'm married. I'm married, so I get to do that. If you got a girlfriend or a guy with big titties, then you can touch boobies all you want if they let you. That's all I'm saying. Consent.
All right, Chris, can you go to Warrior right now and grab her boobie and see what she does?
She'll slap the shit out of me, but she won't press
Exactly.
That's what happens to him. He gets slapped.
Not all the time.
I'm Diablo the Demon Lord. I touch boobies and I get slapped for it.
Episode 2, the big booby chick says she loves him.
Come on.
Episode 2, she's in love with him.
Because he understood her. That's all women want, is somebody to understand them. And not
I'm going to go on a date and be like, I understand you. She's like, oh my God, have my baby. Is that what she's going to say?
Remember, the touching consent goes both ways, guys.
Remember you had that problem.
Remember to go watch that video about tea consent.
All right.
Just because she wanted tea before doesn't mean she still wants tea. Don't pour it in her mouth while she's unconscious on the floor.
Oh my God!
You guys never seen the tea consent video? It's amazing.
I have not. You gotta link that to her.
Apropos of anything, tea is naturally hot. And pouring that in anyone's mouth, sober, awake, drunk, whatever.
I wanted to ask Alphonse. I don't know if you covered why did you pick this week's anime? Did you cover that already, or did I completely miss it?
No, like I said, I'm going through stuff, and I needed something with laughter. And when I saw the first 2 episodes, I was just randomly watching stuff. The concept of the sexual stuff just made me decide to pick this one. It's basically that's the main reason.
And it's perfect for the problematic sticker. Come on.
A man, Alphonse, exactly. A man after my own. Thank you so much. My penis thanks you for this anime, Alphonse. I will cherish it forever. It's such a great recommendation for me. Dude, I love it. 10 out of 10 from me.
I needed a big one.
I'm looking forward to it.
My right arm hasn't been stronger. 10 out of 10 for me as well.
Yes!
Wow. That is ratings from Chris and Ben. Alfonso, did you want to chip in with your own rating on this particular show before we carry on?
I'm going to give it a 9.5, just because it's good overall. But the ending, the last episode, I didn't like the beginning, but the ending of that last episode was better.
I would give it a country 6. It is just fine. It's fine. It's not offensive, really. It's not spectacular. It just is. It's just there. Ben.
Well, I already gave my...
Ben did 10.
Right, yeah, you did. I was trying to think you'd be the negative one, but you weren't.
Gary and Klaus are left, and you.
Yeah, I just give mine to Gary.
I am going to give it an 8.
High, considering, I have to say.
I think everything about it is good. I just think that it's direction towards 10, its direction to get an arousal out of people with its humor is what's holding it back.
Wait, hold on, Gary. You didn't find it funny that when Diablo, his magic points was lowered, he doesn't use spells, he doesn't use potions. He basically had Shura get naked and rub up against it to be recovered. You didn't find that funny?
Oh my God.
What about the part where the fact that he realised that by staring at her boobies he can craft better because he goes in auto mode?
I retrospectively take points off my score.
No, I love when he big battle. He wakes up in bed after that first big battle. He wakes up in bed talking about how using up a bunch of stronger spells exhausted him, and Shira jumps on him wearing like almost nothing.
I told her.
And she's like, oh, the I can't remember the girl's name. She told me that if I wore this, it would help rouse you up.
The Guildmaster, basically.
The Guildmaster, yeah. The Guildmaster said if I wore this and rubbed on you like this, it would get you up. It feels like you're up already. He's like, oh!
Speaking of Sylvie, the Guildmaster, that scene when she brought in that alcohol that has the side effect of raising his MP, and he's thinking, oh, well, this game doesn't have any drunk status, so he takes and drinks the whole thing and goes instantly drunk, and then what happens after that. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, so look forward to it if you haven't seen it.
I'm shaking my head. I am going to withdraw my original score and give it a 4.
Oh.
Well, fine. I'm going to improve my score and give it an 11.
The cell doesn't go 11. That's a fictional number, man.
Well,
It does. Hey,
anime,
it goes up
so,
to 11.
You know.
Hey, Spinal Tap can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The knob goes up to 11.
It's one higher.
It definitely does with this anime, that's for certain.
I know my knob almost got turned off.
Please give your score.
All right, I'm actually would give it a 9. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was refreshing. I thought it was fun. Yes, highly sexualized, but I thought the story overall was pretty damn good. So
it was a nice break from all the serious anime we've had recently.
Yeah. We kind of go back and forth. It seems like we have a week where it's kind of more serious, and we'll have a week where it's going to be really
we had
light
a couple of
and
weeks
fun.
of really serious.
No, I mean, we didn't have,
I'm sorry to ruin that.
Way to go.
Huh?
Well, if it makes you all feel any better, I think the overall quality of anime we've been watching lately is a far cry from Sword Guy and Fate Extra.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
Well, Chris, let's be honest. Your Richter scale of anime is 70% good, 30% shit. And for us, it's 70% shit, 30% good.
I'm more 50-50. I can...
That's a lie.
No, I really do. I try to find the good elements about an anime that I felt is, just well done. And I try not to overly hate on things that... I try to put myself in the mind of the artists and the animators and the writers and that, and try to, did they convey things right? Could they have done better? What did they struggle with doing? I do the same thing when I review games. My experience in game development is as minimal as it is. It's helped me understand, the struggles that it takes to create a game. So I'm more sympathetic. So I'm a lot more sympathetic to these guys than critical.
Take that approach when you were watching Cowboy Bebop? I mean, let's be honest.
Tell you what, Gary, I will watch it. I haven't watched it in years. I will go back through and watch it again, and in a special segment sometime, I will tell you why you are wrong about hating that anime.
I've never watched Cowboy Bebop, so maybe I'll watch it with you.
Ooh, we should do a Let's Watch like on that one talking about streaming service we were. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds fine. Let's be honest. Right, so I think the general consensus is we like it. Probably a little water thrown over the sexual fire that the thing has got going on. Generally, not the worst we've had by a country mile.
Mm-hmm.
Not the worst. So that is the end of that bit, but we have to, of course, choose another anime for next time. And Chris, you have been away for a while. I believe it falls into your hands.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I feel bad because it's already back to me, and I hardly got any. Well, I got my input in, so
yeah.
Thank you for letting me do that. Again, you guys all recommended some great animes, so I am hoping to recommend a great anime for you. Gary, I know you've already seen this one, but it's one that I feel deserves being talked about on this podcast. So this week I'm going to recommend Soul Eater as the anime of the week.
I like that one.
Have you seen it too?
I have.
Ooh,
I will rewatch it though. So.
Oh yeah.
It is an interesting show.
It's one I'm hoping you guys will find as I did. I actually got Gary into it a few years ago, and he enjoyed it.
Find your grave and take a dump on it. Such a fantastic line.
For your okay.
Anyone listening at home, what is it on in terms of streaming services?
It is on Funimation. I believe it's still on Netflix.
I believe so. That's where I caught it.
It's definitely not on Crunchyroll because I've just checked. And
awesome. So looks like we're covered. I think it might be on Hulu too.
We live in England, so he has no Hulus.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That's okay. You guys don't have to deal with Comcast, so I would consider that a boon and a fair trade. Let's. Yeah. So I would, if anybody has it actually pulled up, I would like to read the description in their dulcet tones.
Yes.
I'm here. Hey, I'm here.
Go ahead. I was just going to do it. I'm looking at it. Go ahead.
I know, but go. If I could put a virtual hand on your virtual shoulder right now, I'm the host for today. It's fine. I can do it. It's fine. It's okay.
I love those dulcet whispers in my ears.
So is it happening? There it goes.
Mac is a meister. The meister. And soul is her weapon. And they're a freaking lethal team in battle against the monsters and ghouls that feed on innocent souls. That's when Soul transforms into a razor-sharp scythe, and Maka wields her partner and unleashes her inner slayer. With their Meister/weapon classmates, Maka and Soul are the world's last line of defense against evil. That is it. That is your description. Very thing.
Wonderfully read, Neil, as always.
Thank you.
How far do you want us to watch? Because there's a lot of stuff.
There's about 54 episodes. 50.
It's pretty long. Yeah.
So I would say as much as you can get. I know Alphonse will probably tonight. But it's...
Yeah.
Should we start with basically like the first season, 1 through 13?
Yeah. Yep. Start with the first season. Get as far as you like. I don't plan on. If you guys can finish it, great. But it is 54 episodes, so I would say get as much as you can. If it hooks you and you binge, great. If not, tell me why. I'm excited to talk to you guys about this because it's a very popular one, and there's a reason for it. There's even a sequel season to it too called Soul Eater Not, which we can talk a little more about next time.
This is a funny ad. See, this is the type of humor more anime needs to utilize.
I agree. I very much agree.
But, that notification noise pretty much confirms what I was going to say, which is that we have reached the end of this very podcast and all talk. So next week, I won't be here, obviously, but Ben will be back in the hosting seat.
Yes, I shall be. Thank you for letting me have a break.
That's fine. I've kept it nice and warm. I have got my arse groove in it nicely.
Oh,
you will exactly. You will feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel because though I am in general, my backside is rather large, so you will feel very much home in the groove of my backside.
I'm all for large backsides. Mo cushion, photo cushion.
That's
Wow.
it. It's frustrating in a heterosexual relationship.
No, I think he likes big butts. He cannot lie.
You other brothers can't deny.
Wise.
And copyright.
How many companies have we pissed off today? Microsoft, Comcast.
A few.
Well, Microsoft is essentially always pissed off.
Yeah.
There's never a happy moment with them.
Sounds like they need a little
But
bit
you
of
know
a.
who we didn't piss off?
old-fashioned.
Verve. One of the best anime streaming services you can get.
Yes.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, Crunchyroll is part of Verve. Go check them out.
Stuff is shit! I just realized. You know what? I've just realized that New Japan Wrestling has just started their latest event this second. That's great.
Well, it's out now, so you can go watch it.
They're going to go watch New Japan Fighting Spirit Unleashed, which you can watch on NewJapanWorld.net. It's great. Excellent.
Everybody, in case you are unaware, or if you have been listening, you are very aware of fan Neil is of wrestling. I don't mean literally. I mean like the fandom. If the fandom were his head, it would be the size of the earth. He loves wrestling, but he is to the point now where regular Western wrestling just doesn't quite do it anymore for him. He's overgrown that stale old cocaine and has moved straight on to Japanese heroin, and he is hooked. People, he is hooked.
Oh, you
Which
just
you can
described
find
it
where,
like
again,
What?
Neil?
Given we're talking about Japanese product here is perfectly acceptable because this is of course very much a Japanese product. So it's a new Japan world. I believe is the best way you can put it. You can get a subscription there for the price of 999 yen, which is very cheap, £4, and get a month's worth of content out there. That is for definite. That is for sure. Tonight you can see the Young Bucks take on Tamatonga and Tangaloa. You can see Cody Rhodes take on Juice Robinson for the
those don't sound like Japanese names.
shh. And I was king to it. Will you let me get to it? And Tomohiro Ishii face off against Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi in the main event.
Kenny Omega. That's a nice.
Unleashed. Fantastic. It's on live right this second. But by the time you listen to this, that was already done and dusted. But you can go and watch the replay if you haven't watched already. Fantastic stuff.
And if you subscribe, you'll be able to catch future episodes. Well,
Exactly. That's the main thing to take.
Man,
I'll give
we're
a quick
such
shout out. Quick shout out while I'm here. Of course, I don't work for this particular site or this particular podcast network. I work for bloodydisgusting.com, and which is a horror site that deals with some video games that are horror related. So you can see my stuff there. I also would recommend the Creepy podcast for some great taken from creepypastas and modern day myths. It's great stuff. It has to be said. Great listen. That's all I have to say on that front. So everyone else will do a round table here. Klaus.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank you guys for having me on. Shout outs to all of you guys. Neil, glad to have you back joining us as a guest. Alfonso, glad to have you here for one more week before you take a break. Hope everything goes well for you. Chris, great to have you back again after a long absence.
Yay!
Missed talking with you. It's because a couple of these animes was like, I wonder what Chris thinks.
Dude, I did the last 4 weeks. I've been doing the same thing. Like I really want to, and I got to hear what your guys' thoughts about it were. So I at least felt a part of the group. I felt I was there with you in spirit.
Aww. And so thank you again for having me here. And if you want to follow me out on Twitter, I am at PHXDN_KLAUSS, where you'll see me talk a lot about my other podcast, Phoenix Down Radio. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. Thanks.
That you will, and that you should, I would say. Gary.
Sup? Oh, shout outs. You can reach me on Twitter. That's GAGLAUSH, Gagalush, and also on Instagram by the same name. Shout outs to you guys for constantly having me on. I don't know why, since I disagree with you guys all the time.
That's why.
It's entertainment, Gary. Are you not entertained?
Shout out to Alfonso. I hope everything goes well for you in the coming days, man. Love you. If you need to talk, you know how to reach me. I'm always around.
Yep.
And Klaus, thanks for coming on again. Always fun to hear your delicious opinions. And Chris, Ben.
Oh! I knew it was coming.
Oh. Ben, you sexy sack of meat, I love you. And yay. And Tim, hope you're able to join us next week.
Yeah, Tim, join us soon.
Do. join everyone. I suppose that we move on to Chris.
Yeah, it is great to be back with all you lovely folks. So thank you so much. Thanks for letting me back on. No, I joke. You guys are all great. Alphonse, I've missed you so much. You were absent. I was absent. Oh, whatever's going on in your life, man. I wish you the best. If you need to talk, anything, man, let me know. That's to all of you guys too. You know, we all deal with shit that goes on in our life, but don't forget you're never alone, because if you're on this podcast, then you have family here. Thank you to our friends.
On this podcast, you have family here. You can contact us.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Especially want to thank Tim for the Gunslinger Girl recommendation. And hope everything's going well with you, and wish you all the love I can. And if anybody wants to contact me or see the stuff that I retweet, I'm on Twitter at Devangel. That's at DEVANGIEL.
Okay.
There you go. And Alfonso, it must go to you.
Shout out to you guys. I still appreciate all the support and motivation y'all giving me through my rough time. Like I mentioned, this will be my last podcast for now, as I'm going to take a long vacation, a month and a half, going to Panama and Costa Rica to work on my health and see some family members. So mid-November, I will be back. Shout out to Ben for still being God. Shout out to Neil.
Yeah.
It's good to have you back for this one time. I hope to hear you on future podcasts. Shout out to Klaus for always making Boruto and My Hero so detailed when you explain it. Like, I miss certain episodes, but when you talk about it, it feels like I'm watching it. It honestly feels like I'm watching it. Shout out to Chris. I know you've been going through a rough patch, but I hope it's over and you can finally move on from it.
Thank you.
Gary, I love you, but right now I hate you because you say Yu Hakusho is poopy, and I did not like that. I did not like that comment. I don't like that.
Oh, Alphonse,
like that.
I'm so glad somebody else here likes you.
Oh my god!
I have to hear.
Why
Gary
don't you go
talk shit about
finger
it all
cannon
the
me?
time. It's called Spirit Gun. You plebe.
Okay.
And
I'm doing it right now. You can't see it, but I'm doing it right now.
I'm gonna spirit gun your butthole.
Lastly, I'm gonna shout out myself for redeeming myself for recommending an awesome anime over that stupid bullshit I picked over a couple of weeks ago. Zero Guy, Sora Guy. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, a million times better than that. That has to be said. No doubt about that. That's Ben and Gary, if I'm right. Ben?
Okay.
No, I went.
I'd like to shout out to... What's up, Gary?
No, I just said I already went.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to Neil. Thank you for being on. I haven't heard you for ages, and I missed you, man. I hope you're doing well. You know, you're kicking butt on that bloodydisgusting.com, so... And I tried to keep up with your tweets. Shout out to... carry on.
As uneventful as they are, yes, it's nice that you keep up with them.
A shout out to Klaus. Thank you for being on, mate. It's always nice chatting with you. A shout out to Alfonso. We're going to miss you, but we know we want your health to come first, and we look forward to when you come back in November. Yeah.
Don't worry, I will always in chat when I have the time to catch up to see what you guys are doing.
Yes. You can always tweet us. We're always going to be there for you, man.
Of course.
To Chris, good to have you back. It's been way too long. These last few episodes weren't exactly very problematic, so it's nice to have you back to make it problematic.
You know, we don't know the math now. Is it Chris not being here or me not being here or both? This is what we have to find out in future episodes.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. Shout out to Gary.
Tune in next week.
And then a shout out to everyone that's listening. Thank you to everyone that's listened to the show this week. A shout out to Ernest in case he actually got someone. Basically, Ernest was going to try and get some people from Crunchyroll to listen to our podcast. So shout out to Ernest if he got anyone from Crunchyroll to listen to the podcast at crunchyroll.com. Go subscribe now.
And sorry, in general.
Sorry.
I wonder that's why we haven't heard from Ernest.
It's shit. I can't recommend this. My reputation hangs on this shit. Yeah, that would be understandable.
He's in there. They're like, you say these are guys you know, and he's like, no, a friend of a cousin of an uncle. That he was a drunk. He recommended. So what podcast do you like, Mr. Head of Crunchyroll? What would get on your show?
So yeah, shout out to everyone that's listening. Thank you all.
Always appreciated to everyone listening. Thank you again for everyone for just being so hospitable and letting me be on again and hosting a podcast again. I thought it would be a long time before that would happen without putting money in my own pocket and starting a different podcast. So it's genuinely. The last time I was on, I didn't get to say this, obviously, because we had technical difficulties at the end. I gave some never sort of ended up being aired because of that, but I'm not going to do that. Don't worry. I can smell the dread in people's right now, where they're like, "Oh shit, he's not going to go on a fucking a drunken."
Drunken tirades. Please continue.
But Neil's a little drunk.
No, I'm just saying it would sound like that because I feel very melancholy and just being like, "Oh, I love you guys," sort of thing. It would very much sound like that. No, I look to come back near Halloween time because thematically that suits me very much.
Oh my God, can we do like a special Halloween podcast and talk about
normally.
movies?
Oh
my God.
There's normally a Halloween special.
Yeah, maybe look to the future where I will start a podcast that may include some of these people. We never know. I know. Just look out at that Twitter that you can find at Nezco, NEZZ. Until Ben will be back in the host chair. My ass groove, and that's not even a sexual thing. I promise you.
I love how
Unless
this
it's
started
an
to break
anime.
up a bit.
Unless it's an anime.
I mean, thematically, it would make sense. So it's rather innocent, unless you wish it not to be. Choice. Until then, we say the Japanese for whatever it is that makes Tati bye.
Tati bye.